Nice and comfy too.
All right, I think I'm live. Thanks for tuning in to the Pin Doctors live show. I believe I've been calling it the Rico Swaff Report. Uh, Today, I was actually thinking of some other names for it. Anyways, to start, I am still messing with the lighting. I don't know. I kind of want to figure out something with this lamp up here to where I don't look like a ghost, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Um, Let me know how everything's coming in right now. This software that I'm using to do these live things is I'm starting to kind of get the hang of it, and I've been working on it a lot the last couple days, and I've needed to do that for months now, but I've just been procrastinating it because it just seems so complicated. But I think I've got the hang of it. I think with relatively decent consistency, I could probably operate a podcast independently to where I can take anybody's call and switch screens to YouTube or whatever I might want to watch and comment on. I think I've got it, and it's going to take a little bit more practice. But and with that said, that will make me about 100 times more likely to do these podcasts all the time, because the main reason that I wasn't doing these on like a routine basis was because I just was procrastinating learning the software because I hate it. So now that I've got it kind of figured out, I wouldn't, you know how crazy I am. I wouldn't be surprised if I had one of these every night. Why not? When I write articles, they don't even give you a chance to monetize. Like, it's like they almost force you to make videos that way. But when you produce videos, you get the option of people sending you stars, which, if you guys want to see more of this type of stuff, please send some stars over my way. Thank you. And also the ads, there's ads that pop up like in the middle of videos and stuff. You don't get that option for writing articles either. And it just kind of sucks. It's like, why is writing articles not worthy of that something like that sort of treatment? Anyways, so I'm going to start making a lot more videos. Not necessarily because I want to or that I love doing it, but it's really going to be my only consistent form of income. So, priorities. So today we are going to have, and he's waiting right now. I see you, Skyler. Skyler Young from Eddyville-Blakesburg. He placed 8th at 2A 285 in February, and that was his second time to the tournament. And he's one of, like, with the high school age kids, like there's a few guys that are 18 through 20 or so that have followed me a little bit since I was with the predicament, but it took a while for some of the younger crowd to really warm up to the Pin Doctors. For about the first year and a half, 2 years, Pin Doctors, I think, was kind of looked at by the younger crowd as like, oh, that's just what like the old people do. So I've, and everybody always tells me that, oh, I can't believe how many names you remember. And it's true. I do remember a lot of wrestling names, which means that I notice it when these dudes sign up for the Pin Doctors. I know who they are. And I remember every single one of them who have been there from the start. This guy's one of them. This guy's been like, he's one of my one of the high school wrestlers right now that have been following and interested in the Pin Doctor since I started it. So Skyler Young, let me get him on the screen and set this up. All right, how's it going, Skyler? Let me get a different format here. There, that's a little better. Is that better?
All right. Yeah, that's good.
Like, adjust your light.
Yeah.
I got some lighting issues here too. Like, I look like Count Dracula right now. But man, so you're a state placer now. and that was your goal at the beginning of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wanted to win it, but of course everybody wants to win it, but it happens. But yeah, I'm glad that I finally placed. It's been a long time coming. So
that's awesome. Man, and one thing that I've noticed about you is you've had some really, really freaking quick pins in the postseason. You had an 18-second pin at state either this year or last year. Was it this year?
It was last year. That was against the PCM kid.
And then a 22-second pin this year, right? At state?
Yeah.
And then you pinned the 6th place guy, Russell Coyle. Guy that got 6th at he gets 6th at 2A 220 or 2A.
Yeah, he was heavy. He got 6th at heavyweight. Yeah.
Okay, you pinned him in 10 seconds. He's from he's from our area. Like, he's good. Like, I think he only had like 4 or 5 losses on the year. That's a huge win. How'd you do that?
Well, like, I just got over under and he pushed in, so I just threw him. Yeah.
Nice. I love it when that happens. Like, they just kind of like fall into the like they kind of like fall into your glove, kind of. I had one of those matches. My fastest pin ever was a result of that. I think the kid was actually pretty decent. He just got out of position right away, and I was gifted it. If he and I wrestled 10 times, he may get me a few of them. But you gotta love that when somebody just gets right into your bread and butter right away. When
I was wrestling him, I could tell he was good. So
yeah, and he had a good tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, anybody that's able to make the podium at state, anybody that's able to just get through the damn week, deserves a lot of respect.
It's grueling.
Yeah. Football, right? You're playing football in college?
Yeah.
Nice.
Going to Minot State University in North Dakota.
Hey, okay, cool. How'd you end up there?
Went on a couple visits, and my last visit really sold me on the atmosphere, the players, the whole atmosphere, how everything is. It's ran more like a close-knit family. That's something I was looking for. So.
Gotcha. Right on. I actually have a couple slideshows that you're gonna it's like 2 sets in the same slideshow, but of different types of things that I'm gonna start with. Here, let me get to the first one, see if I don't screw this up. This will be my first time getting through all this. Well, I was even on time today. This is the first time that I've ever been within 10 minutes on time. Usually having terrible tech issues. All right, share screen. Window is what I want. Why is that not up there? There it is. Oh. Okay, I see. It needs to be not minimized for you to do it. All right. There it is. Let me zoom in with it a little bit so we can actually read it. This will be this year's stuff. And share. All right, let me get here, and we probably need to. Oh, it worked automatically. How about that? All right, can you see that? Can everybody see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Can you read it? It's kind of small.
Yeah, I can read it.
Okay, so your state tournament this year. First round, you received a bye. Dude, what was it like when you read that you had a bye first round?
I was more in shock because I wasn't ranked coming in, and then all these other guys that were ranked weren't even seated. Like the Albie kid Paul, he wasn't even seated, and he was ranked number 1 at the time. Mm-hmm. So I was just more in shock, man. I wasn't complaining, but
yeah. I was just I was reading some of those, and I was like, man, knowing me and how I used to approach wrestling, it wasn't always the best. I didn't always approach it the best way. But man, I would have been so relieved when I saw a bye. I just hated having a first round match. That butterfly match. I just always didn't want to even wrestle it. But anyways, all right. So first round technically. Will Texter of Dyke, New Hartford. Did he place?
Yeah, he got second. He made the finals.
Oh God, that's right. Okay, that's right. I talked to somebody about him. won in sudden. Oh, so you lost to the runner-up in sudden victory overtime.
Yeah, it was tough, but
so the line that separates you and the guys that were competing in the finals, it's not very thick. It's a thin line.
yeah.
Man, how did that match go? It looks like it was a low scoring match, just kind of a battle for position type of deal, or
Yeah, I couldn't get like any of my offense going. He was really good at like defending the upper body stuff, and like he was quick for his. He was quick. So, and then in overtime, he got like behind me. I should have tried to break the lock, but instead I put my hands down. Completely forgot about that rule. So as soon as my hands touch the mat, the takedown, and then yeah. So.
Gotcha. Like, was it kind of a hard pill to swallow after losing that match, or were you able to bounce back?
For an hour, it was really tough. Like, I got us a team point taken away on accident, but it's whatever. I was a little frustrated, but
I had that happen once myself. Yeah, it's one of those deals. It's like, if you're going to judge my character based on just a little, lapse when you're going through some adrenaline, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Looks like you came out angry though. Your next guy you pinned in 22 seconds, and that was a dude from the northwest part of the state, I believe.
Yeah.
Sean Zimmerman of Sergeant Bluff, Luton. Nice. So how did that one go about?
Got double unders and just bear hugged him to the ground, and then was not letting him move.
Nice. I love it when a bear hug falls into your lap. I especially love it when a headlock falls into my lap.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hit the left-sided headlock?
I have before, but like last couple of years, I just haven't really looked for it. But
cool. Then you won a decision over Evan Sorensen of Atlantic.
And that kid's tough. That kid's tough.
Yeah.
He's gonna be good.
Yeah. What grade is he in?
I think he's a sophomore.
Sophomore.
And he's right there. Like, he's gonna be really good. So
nice. Cool to see. I'm glad I know the name now. I've read it here and there before, but there's so many Sorensens to keep track of, and so many of them are so good, and they're all from like different parts of the state. There's like Sorensens from Forest City, then there's like Brandon Sorensen and those guys at Denver Trip, and this Sorensen is from
Atlantic, I think.
Yeah, and then this match, I always remember this match that you had. This was the blood round match. You beat another good guy named Trent. How do you say his last name?
I think it's Cake Rice.
Cake Rice.
Like that.
It's pretty cool. Man, you wrestled sharp in that match, dude. Like, there wasn't a second that went by in that match where you weren't going for the kill against that kid. Like, you were dangerous at all times in it, but smart. You didn't get out of position. You didn't force it. And one thing I didn't mention earlier when I was talking about the high school kids that have been some of the first Pin Doctors followers, from back in the day, because there weren't many of them, and I follow it closely. One thing I didn't mention is I root for all these guys. I'm not going to sit here and deny that I don't deep down have my favorites, and sometimes in moments like the one that you had in your blood round match, I was rooting for you. You're one of the first high school kids to ever give me love with what I'm doing. Like, yeah, I was watching. I got sentimental when you won your blood round. I hadn't even met you yet, like in person, and that was a cool moment. What was going through your mind when the towel boy hit in the third period?
I was relieved because it finally did it. Finally placed. So.
Did you feel that old weight being lifted off your chest?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, the emotions didn't hit me till I got close to the tunnel, and then all of a sudden I just started crying because I was so happy.
Yeah, because you're going to go into all that not being stressed out about whether you're going to make the podium or not. That's such a huge worry from the time you even get in the building. I just worrying if you're even going to be in the Grand March. How was that experience for you? Because I only played.
That was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had.
Really?
Just walking out there, seeing all the 10,000 plus people there is so cool.
Nice. Looks like you had a close match against Paul Ballard of Alabia. I'm guessing you have wrestled Ballard a lot, considering the
Yeah,
closeness.
it was like my fourth time wrestling this year.
You ever beat
Third
him?
or fourth time. No, he beat me all 3 or 4 times. I don't remember how many times it was, but
Close matches too, I'm guessing.
Yeah, the second one he pinned me because of I went down. We were tied 0-0 going in the second period in the conference finals, and then he just put me in a cradle. Got me.
Gotcha. 7th place match. Looks like you got pinned, but that never tells the story. Sometimes it's just a guy getting out of position and having a lapse. So, man, I lost my 5th and 6th place match. That was the worst ass kicking I ever took in my life. It was only 11-3. It was against I talk about Danny Ellsbury every show, I swear. He's the guy I talk about that's like the boulder with arms that had a mustache. I was like this. I was kind of skinny and looked like an NSYNC guy with my frosted tips. He 5th place match, man. He's the toughest guy I ever wrestled in my entire life. I can't even imagine being able to beat him. And we've talked since, and he's just like, dude, that's the most pissed I've ever been in my entire life when I wrestled you. He was like, I got pinned, got caught and pinned in the semi-console match. And he was like, I wanted to kill the next guy that I faced, and it happened to be you. I'm like, man, it's like, how are you not in the finals? But yeah, sometimes you have those matches, that in your last one.
And that was definitely the biggest guy I've ever wrestled in my life. He was like 6'8", 6'9", huge dude.
I can't and was he 6'8", 6'9", and like jacked, or was
yeah, he was huge.
I saw this dude. He did something so athletic. Where was he from? He was a 285. I caught like a picture of him when he was like and he was wrestling this other huge guy that looked like he was a full 285, and he had him just in midair. I don't know. It looked like something that Arnold Schwarzenegger would do. And I'm like the worst cameraman in the world. I don't have, I just happened to luckily catch it. I'll have to. But yeah, there's some really impressively strong upper weight wrestlers these days. I mean, they just keep on getting stronger. But we'll go to the next one. The next slide. So, what could it be? Oh, it's last year.
Oh.
Well, hey, maybe not your favorite memory, but hey, man, you won a match.
Yeah.
Hell, my junior year, I hadn't even made it yet. I didn't make it until my senior year. Yeah. So at 2A 285 last year as a junior, you had Cameron Guther of West Delaware. Okay, he looks like he was a tough kid. Skyler.
Yeah, he's the one that won it this year.
Oh, gotcha. I'm saying his name wrong, ain't I?
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't know. But he is hard to wrestle. He's one of the toughest guys I've ever wrestled in my life because he's just so awkward and moves not like how he should.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. If the first time that you ever run into that with somebody that wrestles awkward, and it's like why can't I have run into something like this in practice before state? Why do I have to run into because if you practiced with them for a week or something, maybe you can figure them out. But I hated running into the awkward wrestlers. And I was an awkward wrestler. I showed you that YouTube video of me wrestling in high school. I definitely wasn't conventional. But then that's when you picked up your 18-second pin. Your muscles. Caden Clark from PCM. My brother Shay was rivals with a kid named Tyler Clark not Tyler Clark, but Tristan Clark from PCM. They're probably related. And Logan Green, Clarinda. Would you say that year was a big learning experience for you?
Oh, definitely. Knowing that how much stronger a lot of these guys are like that. The kid from Clarinda, he was really, really strong too. I think he's at Iowa now playing football. So yeah, I knew he was tough, but I didn't think he was going to be that strong. But yeah, he was an animal.
Right on. All right, before we go to the next slide, I just want to remind everybody out there, if you're watching, which I don't know if you are or not because I can't see it quite yet, but let me know in the comments. Let me know how things are going. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in the subscription section. It's been the biggest headache of my life. Also, send stars, because that's how these things are funded. Is stars are basically tips. If you think I'm worthy of a tip, and you want to see more of these, then send them over, and I will appreciate it forever. All right. And I'm going to get to a couple of comments. Doesn't look like we have many yet, but they'll start coming in. Travis Mead. Did you by chance read the article on Travis Mead I posted last week? It was
I'm not sure. Let me go see which one.
Oh, there's been I've been on a roll lately. There's been so many. I don't know how anybody could keep up with all of them, honestly. Travis Mead was a 3A 285 champ. What's the year? 2000.
Oh, I do think I remember reading some of that one.
Yeah, he was the guy that placed the 2 years before that, but his senior year he actually got beat out for varsity at the beginning of the year by the reigning 220 champ that was his practice partner. And then he got hurt, so it opened the spot for Travis Mead, and he won it. Anyways, he says you should show a match and have them talk you through it. That'd be cool. And dude, we are going to do something like that. I couldn't find a match. I couldn't find a recording of Skyler. So maybe another time if we can get you on again or something. But we're gonna. I've already got one set up. I don't know if I'm gonna introduce you or not, because you may be familiar with them. I don't know how. Do you study a lot of history? I mean, if you're a Pin Doctors fan, you probably follow some history. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some.
So what I have set up a little later is I've got a YouTube video set up of one of my favorite heavyweights of all time, and he was in the mid 80s, and he's I think he's got a case for being the GOAT. I mean, when a heavyweight wins 3 titles, I think that's
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, starting out at heavyweight, I mean, 106 pounders, the freshmen that wrestle at 106, they're at least competing against other freshmen. Heavier guys are competing. Heavier freshmen are competing against, heavier upperclassmen. So, man, it just floors me when guys are able to win multiple titles and place state when they're at an upper weight. Anyways, I'm going to show you a video of him. It's 3 minutes long, and hopefully educate you on a past legend. I don't know if some of you out there want to guess who it is. One of the best heavyweights to come out of our state, and he was from the 80s. I'm not going to tell you where he wrestled or played another sport in college, because that would just give it away. Yes, Travis. Me too, man. Heavyweight's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite weights to watch. I think that they need to start staggering when they start, which weight they start on at the state tournament, because I don't think it's ever been fair to any state champion heavyweight that's ever won it, because they don't get the experience of cheering, of celebrating with a crowd cheering them on, because everybody freaking leaves. It's one of the most disrespectful.
Yeah.
You guys are just gonna leave before. I don't know. It's they don't get as full of a moment as some of these other weights do, because a third of the audience is there. And it's not that you're doing it for all the praise and glory, but it'd be nice to hear those cheers. You worked hard for it. And they need to start staggering those heavy. It's not fair to the heavier guys. I agree. They need to accomplish their dreams in front of people too.
I think they should do what the NCAA does, the marquee matchup, whatever they want to do last. This year, they probably should have ended with 220 because Ben Keeters on 4-time. But personally, that's what I think. But
I had never actually thought of that before, and I agree with that. Agree with that 100%. Nope, it was not Bruce B. Thomas. I think he's referring to Bruce Baumgartner. I'll get this one. I'll give this hint. He's from Iowa. I need to start including non-Iowans into my podcast stuff because there's actually a lot of non-Iowan people that follow this page. And anyways, nope, it's not Bruce Baumgartner. I'll give another hint about this guy. He played 2 sports in college, and he was successful at both of them. All right, we'll go to the next slide. All right. Can you? I'm gonna, come on. All right. All right. I don't know why it's showing the way it is, but can you read that?
Yeah, I can read it.
All right, that's what Track Wrestling has listed as some of your significant wins of the last year. I think they update them every year. I just was wondering if you wanted to go through and talk about any of those matches that stick out. Any of them that mean something to like that's special to you or something that sticks out. So it looks like you
definitely
started out.
The one I would probably say is the most memorable is the one against the Cake Rice kid from APGC. It's probably the most memorable one.
Gotcha.
And then the Coil one, the one against Russell.
Yeah, dude, a 10-second pin against a placer that was having a great season. That's something that doesn't happen much. And that's cool. And nothing against Russell. He's good wrestler, good kid, but just man, gotta hand it to somebody that's able to actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota Wilson, you beat him at the South Central Conference tournament. Did you win?
Yeah. Oh, I got second. I lost Paul Ballard.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, who's Dakota Wilson? He's new for me.
He was Sheraton. He's their back. He's a freshman. He was Sheraton's backup there. Their heavyweight. He hurt his shoulder really bad. I'm pretty good friends with him, so
cool.
He kept me in the loop with that.
Cool. Just since we're on that topic, who are some of your good friends in the wrestling community? Like, is there anybody out there you'd like to give a shout out to?
Oh, like my best friend. Like we're pretty close. Tracy Gomat from North Mahaska. Me and him used to go to club wrestling together, and we've been friends all along. So.
Did he qualify this year?
He's a 2-time qualifier.
Okay, they sent 2 or 3 this year, didn't they? Or 4?
Yeah, they sent. Gosh, I know they sent Ryan Groom, Wyatt Van Wielden, Trace, and I'm forgetting one more. On Hunter. I don't remember his last name, but they're 132.
132? Cool. Brody Neal, where's that at? Was that dual meet?
I don't even remember that one. Is it bad I don't remember that? But
no, track can be kind of random on how they select the significant wins. I don't really know what their algorithm is. And I just haven't had the time to try and figure it out, I guess. But no, it happens, man. Reagan Roberts, it's a cool name. Kind of flows good together. It looks like you pinned him twice. How'd those matches go?
He's a freshman from Knoxville.
He'll
be pretty good, but he's like he's kind of not as mature as most because he's still a freshman and he's still growing into his body. But he'll be pretty good. I think he'll be tough. So.
Let me get to the comments. Austin Blythe was a 4-time finalist and a 3-time champ, I think. Austin Blythe, hands down, has a great case as being the GOAT. When everybody talks about the Iowa high school wrestling GOAT, I just think it's such a silly topic because if you're gonna have some sort of contest like that where you have 285 pounders competing against guys that were lightweights, they're not even the same sport really. I wrestled as a 112 pounder as a high school freshman, and I also wrestled as a 197 pounder in college. They're 2 totally different things.
Oh, they're way different.
you want to talk about the GOAT, just separate him into upper, middle, and lightweight. Otherwise, the actual like GOAT, like all-time GOAT, high school, any weight argument, it's just it doesn't even make sense. Apples and oranges.
Because if they like did it by like weight class, it'd be different. But if they do it just like overall, my opinion, you can't really do that.
Yeah, it's yeah, and but yeah, Austin Blythe, he went 2-1-1-1.
I do remember that.
All 4 years at heavyweight. All
and now
4
he's
years.
Playing for the. I can't remember who's playing for right now. I think he was with the Seahawks and the Chiefs at one point. I can't remember who he's with now, but
yeah, he just retired from the Seahawks, right?
I think that's where he was at.
He was at the he was on the Rams, and then he went to the either the Seahawks or Chiefs. So I posted an article on it. I should know this. I mean, that thing got like 3,000 likes because he just recently retired. But,
he's one of my favorite. I've watched him wrestle too. Like I used to go like look up watch him wrestle because I always knew he was good at football. I didn't realize he was like that good at wrestling, and then I watched him like, dang, he's pretty impressive. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, so instead of getting to the next slideshow, we're gonna go to the YouTube video and have us comment through it. Before I play it, I'm gonna give you a little background information. I'm going to get to the next comment, which the next comment came from Todd Fye. He says, Mark Sindlinger. He's exactly right. This is going to be of Mark Sindlinger winning his third state title in – wait. This would have been his – God, I hope it's his third. Pretty sure that this was his third title. And what's cool about it, have you ever heard of a man named Jim Miller?
Name sounds familiar, yeah.
He was Wartburg College's head coach for decades, won multinational title, and I think he's in charge of like the Hall of Fame. And so his son TJ was a national D3 national champ. He's considered one of the greatest college coaches of all time. He was coaching. He didn't get a start at Wartburg. He actually was at Charles City, which is where Mark Sindlinger competed for. And when Mark won his third title, Mark picked him up in his arms and carried him around the mat. It was a really, really cool moment. So that's what you're about to see. You're about to see one of the greatest wrestlers that's ever come through our state carrying around one of the best coaches that's ever coached in college wrestling.
Sounds good.
Just find the slide for it. Oh, I see what I got to do. Okay, I got to remove this one. And then I got to add. What's going on here? Oh, here it is. All right. Nope, that's not what I want. All right. All right, I'm trying to add a. All right, got to remove that one. Now I can probably add another one. Why is it not letting me add another one? Okay, now I think it'll let me. Oh, wait, not that. There we go. Now I got it. I can't believe I actually figured it out.
Matches. Sometimes you don't remember what happened at all. They'll show him the tape tomorrow sometime.
All right.
And you'll be happy to see it.
We're going to turn this down.
All the wrestlers in this weight are over 220 pounds.
We're watching Mark Sindlinger win his third.
We got to pick
let me know what you think about some of his
going for his
technique
third
and approach.
straight
Just
championship.
the way he wrestles.
He's wrestling Lee Schoen of Fort Dodge.
Is
Now,
the upper weights,
flag,
are they
but,
your
you can
favorite
tell Sindler
weights to
because he's
watch
wearing the
even?
leggings
Like to
on
watch?
Oh, 100%.
Black.
I love watching them.
Tights. And boom, he's in on a double leg quick. Schoen managed to fight it off. Sindlinger.
It's a big guy,
He's
isn't it?
already
Oh,
He's on the right.
Huge dude.
I think.
to go to the University of Iowa to play football and possibly wrestle too.
No, he's on the
And
left.
Sindlinger, the first takedown, he leads 2-0.
What'd you think of that
Up
shot?
in 1A in the corner there, you see Dorn
That's
Brisbane
pretty,
against
very fast. He's really explosive. He looks really, really explosive.
And in the AAA, in the AA division, John Nielsen of Lake Mills
Oh,
is
shoot.
wrestling
Oh,
undefeated
dang.
Derek
Yeah.
Carlisle.
It's not like he's
like
that.
They're already locked up a tight cradle on that, got him to his back for 2 back.
Can you imagine beating somebody
we
like
were
that in the
figuring this
state
out a little while
finals?
ago, but how long Sindlinger's
That'd
actually
be-
had to wrestle in this
Knowing
tournament.
it's going to be a
He won a
long,
30-second
long night.
fall, a 31-second fall, and then a fall took him, he had to wait around a while, 1:23. He's a young lad that won that National Federation Championships in Iowa City last summer as well as a couple of these other boys. So he's experienced against all kinds of people. He likes this. He likes to get you up and then foot sweep you.
Oh, yeah.
As you go down.
That was good.
you're
That's
Yeah,
already
exactly what I
we're-
probably would have done in that situation. Yeah. I like doing that type of stuff.
Well, I hope we see more of it.
That's like exactly how I won against the Sergeant
He's
Bluff
got
kid.
some talent.
How do you think he could do against the new guys?
A minute and 8
I
seconds.
think he'd still kick everybody's butt easy. He's just so much more explosive than a lot of guys.
2:31.
Watch what he does with his coach.
32 altogether in 4 matches.
Oh,
Say, how could
he
you
jumps
tell
in his
how big
arms.
this
I
man
forgot
is?
that.
You don't get to see him long enough to know if he's
That's
any good.
cool.
There's how big he is. He's carrying his coach around.
I think that's the
That'd be
last
fucking
match
cool.
that Jim Miller ever coached in high school. I think he went to Wartburg after that.
Sindlinger
Or wait,
of Charles City finishes an
he was an
undefeated
assistant at
senior year with
Iowa.
his third
I don't know.
championship. Let's look at it again. Watch this
But,
sweep. See how it catches a leg block.
anyways,
What he does so well is he's got all of his weight right up into
That
the
guy was
man's
way
face.
bigger than he was, and he threw him around
Not
like he was
hanging the
nothing.
chest over. He's right up on top of him.
all right.
And you'll see the referee.
All right. Turn this back up. I think the audio. Dang it. I think the audio gets a little messed up when I go to YouTube. All right. So, yeah. So, like, that's one of the best heavyweights in the '80s era. Do you think a lot of people like to have the argument that guys from different eras, like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, couldn't compete with the guys today because it's gotten too technical? Do you agree with that notion? Or when you watch somebody like Sindlinger, does he remind you of a guy that is, would still be a world beater today if he wrestled like that?
He looks like he still could, like he wrestles like a lot of guys do still do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could hang, like he's probably some of the ones like back in the 80s or whatever that could still compete against guys nowadays. But I understand the argument from both sides though.
Yeah,
So it could go either way.
There's a lot more resources available for kids today, but at the same time, there's a lot more distractions too. I would say that distractions increased a lot when the internet started getting, like, that's how I remembered it anyways. I remember I became a lot more of a distracted person when my family finally got the internet. And don't get me wrong, I love the internet, but more distractions, I'll say that much. All right, let's get to the comments real quick. I don't know if there's any in here. Yeah, show. Oh, what? Still getting used to this. All right. Everybody, all you guys who are watching, and I don't know if my comments are working. Still getting used to this new software. Anyways, so we are going to go to the next slideshow, and with this one, all I want you to do is No. All I want you to do is just tell me what's on your mind when it gets to the slide that is on.
Okay.
It'll be pretty self-explanatory, I think. All right, I gotta go forward one. All right. I am back with you. Who's that guy?
Oh, that's my guy. That's Corey Connell. He used to be my old PE teacher in elementary.
Yeah. You're able to. Do you know what that picture would have been taken from?
That would have been from. I remember him winning a couple state titles. So back in City High.
It's a borderline amazing that he didn't win multiple state titles, because I've always referenced him as the best wrestler I ever faced in my entire career. He's the only guy I ever wrestled that just took me down and pinned me right away. Ever. He did that to me in 5th grade. That was like one of my 2 losses on the entire season. He never had anything close to that. I was really good that year, and he didn't get any worse. He just kept on getting better. The reason he didn't win like 3 was he was always in a logjam with like Ryan Heim. Ryan Heim and him, how they met in the state finals when they're in 3rd grade, because I was in that bracket, 4th grade because I was in that bracket, and then met in the semis at state. And Ryan Heim was like a 2-time state champ. And it's like he just was in a logjam. But he beat one of the Paulson twins when he won state that year. But yeah, how well do you know Corey?
I've known him for a long time. Like at the state tournament this year and last year, he'd come up to me and ask me how I did and everything. I really appreciate him, like, still trying to keep in contact with me.
Yeah. He's a great dude and a brilliant wrestler. And he's one of these guys that there's nothing fake about him. He legitimately cares and always does care, even if he, like you said, even if he transfers to a different school to coach. And not transfer, but even if he accepts a different position, he's always going to have a special place in his heart. All right, let's go to the next one. I opened the wrong one again. Who is that guy?
Oh, Phobes. He's one of my.
Hopefully he's watching. I don't know.
Oh yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, he was really, really good. I watched him from youth all the way through high school. I couldn't believe that he hadn't won a title before he did. I thought he was going to win. Did he win 1 or 2?
He won 1 his senior year, 160.
Gotcha. Yeah, he was really good. And a rather notorious figure in Eddyville wrestling. In the community, like a lot of people, when you think of Eddyville-Blakesburg, you think of Tyler. You know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He's a really cool guy. He's shown a lot of love to this page, and I've always appreciated him for that. But what do you remember him for, as far as how he wrestled and stuff?
Oh, he was he wrestled tough all the time. He would go 100% all the time. Never take his foot off the pedal, and kept going.
Didn't seem to have any like real weaknesses.
Oh, no.
What's that?
Not really. He had a nasty slide by too.
Ah, cool. Yeah. I remember watching him in a match. I think it was at state. It's really cloudy, but I remember him having a match where, I swear to God, him and his opponent were on their backs like 3 times a piece. Like, they just kept on throwing haymakers at each other. And it was one of those rare matches. Like, you didn't usually see somebody like Tyler, getting in bad position like that. But I wish I could remember which one that was. Saw him compete since he was a little kid. His mom was real active on the message boards, so I always had been too. So always kind of watched for him. All right, next guy coming up. Who is
Sage.
that guy?
Oh, he's a dog. He's one of my guys too. He's one of the best wrestlers I've ever wrestled in practice ever. He was like my freshman year. I was weighing like 250. He was weighing 180, and he was just throwing me around like it was nothing. It was one of the craziest things I've ever been a part of.
I've heard that. I've heard somebody say that before. I've heard somebody say, I think it was when like he beat Jackson Kinsella either in the semis or in the finals. I don't remember. But I thought, I wasn't really that familiar with Sage. But I was more familiar with Jackson, and I thought he was really, really, really good. And he is really, really, really good. So when Sage beat him, it kind of, I kind of took notice. But yeah, he's a baddie, always in great position, always able to, always just really a complete package type. Another guy that doesn't have any weaknesses. How would you describe Eddyville-Blakesburg-Fremont wrestling in terms of the style you guys tend to have?
Oh, that's a tough one. I would say probably really tough. Like, don't give up, just keep pushing, and don't back down from anybody. Especially like when Coach Little, he was coaching. Everybody was tough. Got punched in the face, you punch him right back. It's one of those. Just kept going, and it still rubs off like that type of wrestling still, because that's what all used to.
Gotcha. All right, let's get to the next one. Who is that?
Oh, Demon, Jake. He's one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life too.
Did he win one or two?
He won one. He was the first one in school history to win one.
Oh, he was? Huh.
Yeah, he was.
I just looked at that and I didn't remember it. Huh. Wow. So he actually, I've got a cousin that plays at State for New London. His name is Jonathan Swafford. And I think I want to say that Jonathan lost to him first round at State the year that he won it. And it was one of those matches where after Jonathan got off the mat with him, we were just like, well, that guy's a different level. He was just crazy good. One of the more underrated guys of that entire era. I think people realize how good Jake Demon was.
Oh yeah, he was, and he's still tough to this day. He may be a lot older now, but he holds his own in the room during practice and stuff against all the guys. So
yeah, that's cool. So he's a coach now then.
Yeah, he's a junior high coach. He coaches junior high.
Man, you guys have got some hammers coaching you. Damn.
Oh yeah.
Wild. Oh man, I forgot one of them. Yeah.
Oh, D. I remember that match too. Oh, that's like
you remember this match right here? Was that his second?
I think that's, yes. I remember he was so mad for no reason too. We just beat the crap out of this guy and was mad he didn't pin him. So that shows you how different he is from everybody else. It's just that mindset is crazy.
I wrestled one guy that made it abundantly clear that he was mad he didn't pin me. And I remember when he made it clear, I just remember thinking to myself, my God, that guy is mad at himself that he didn't pin me. I don't know if I ever felt like a bigger wuss in my entire life.
I know I would. I'd feel like, dang, that's tough.
Like, I've won matches where I felt I could have beat him worse, but I'm never upset about it afterwards. Like if I get my hand raised, it's like, oh, at least I won. This person was mad that he didn't pin me. Like, come on, what am I, chopped liver? All right. And he's been the head coach for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah, this was his first year, and you could tell him being in the room has changed everything, because we go from just me and Skyler and Blake Yeager being the state qualifiers to bring in all 3 more like younger guys. So you can tell the program's in the right direction. Getting a lot more kids out to wrestle too, and yeah.
It was probably a big thing getting one of your probably is he like the biggest like wrestling star to come from Eddyville, you think?
Oh yeah, he's definitely the best, probably the best in my opinion. It may be biased because we're related, but the best wrestler to come from.
Nice. How would you describe the way that he wrestles?
He is not afraid to tear your head off. He's one of the most aggressive wrestler I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's cool. I was around and kind of paying attention when he was doing his thing, but when he was in high school, my brothers were in youth wrestling, so I was like always at youth events, and I only got to watch him wrestle just a select few times, and every time I watched him, I'd just be like, "Jesus, that kid is awesome," and he was good like ever since the youth days too. I saw a podium picture somewhere where he was on top of it, like an AAU podium. And this is one that had like a bunch of like other superstars on it with him. But Dimitri Boyer. And who is that guy?
Oh, Jaron. He's doing really good now too. Ever since I knew he would be coaching somewhere. I thought he was, the longest time, he was going to be coaching us at the high school level, but now he's at Loris. He's doing really well, so it's good to see.
Yeah. See, I root for the guy these days. I never rooted against him. Always rooted for him. Always liked watching him wrestle. But I actually wrestled at Loris myself, and so yeah, I'm hoping I'm always rooting for that squad. I do have my biases and I do have my teams that I'm partial to, and sometimes I think it's pretty obvious who they are, but hopefully I'm not like too over the top with it. But Loris, I do a podcast. There's a Loris banner on my damn wall. It's obvious I'm a Chiefs fan. Obvious I'm a Loris guy. But I was really happy to see that Jaron. I was really happy to see it when he joined the Loris College staff back when TJ was in charge of it. Jim Miller that we were talking about, that Mark Sinlier carried off, his son was the head coach at Loris before Jaron took over.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, kind of small world type of thing. All right, let's go to the next one. Who is that guy?
Oh, Blake. He's one of the most talented guys I've ever seen wrestle ever.
Dude, he was. I want to say he was from Wilton.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Like he was from a little bit closer to where I'm from when he was a youth wrestler, and so I watched him from the time he was like first grade all the way up. He's one of these kids that. Yeah, I don't think I ever watched him as a tiny little kid not know what he was doing. It was like this kid knew what he was doing and was a hammer immediately. It just had a sense for it. I caught on pretty quick myself. Like my brothers could catch on, but this dude was just like, when you would watch kids like that, some of these kids, like no joke, some of these kindergartners these days, you watch them wrestle, and it's like
they're just
some of them have just as good a technique as some high school state qualifiers do. Just in different body forms, I can't believe how good some of these kindergartners are. It's crazy. A lot of them do get burnt out because they're not getting that good with no work put into it. But
I remember Blake, and every time going into youth practice, we'd hear, "Oh, Blake and Jaron got into it again," because they were so competitive, and Jaron tried to put the most out of everybody.
Yeah,
him and Blake would get in fights all the time just because Jaron wants the best for everybody, and he's trying to push everybody. And sometimes Blake didn't like that, so they.
I had a teammate that I was like, that's like he's like a brother to me now, and he's like a brother to me then too. But one of my practice partners in high school, sometimes we would avoid each other in the practice room because we didn't want to deal with how pissed off we'd be if we even gave up a takedown or a point against the other.
Oh yeah.
It just, and we should have put that shit aside and just focused on making each other better instead of worrying about the other one scoring a point on, but when you wrestle with a practice partner every day for a season, or hell, with Keller, me and him were practice partners for 10 seasons. You get to a point where you don't want them beating you. I didn't want my brothers beating me. I don't want my brothers to beat me in ping pong, so I get pretty pissed off in the rare situation where they do.
Like me and my brother were practice partners my sophomore and junior year, and sometimes we'd literally be throwing hands at each other because we were so mad, but literally 10 minutes later we'd be best friends again. So
that's cool. I know that there's a couple more at least. Who is that?
Oh, Megan. I saw her the other day. She gave me a big old hug and everything. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, she's the GOAT. There hasn't been anything. There hasn't been a girl. Well, it's unfair of me to say a little bit, because right now with women's wrestling in Iowa taking off the way it has.
Oh, and Rihanna's up there too, I think.
Skyler Slade and this Lily Luft and all that. I don't want to leave anybody out. Rena Utterback. She's been
one of my really close friends for a long time. Me and Rihanna. So
Rihanna. Yesterday I was like, I'm always saying her name wrong. It's Rena or Reina. Both of those are wrong. Jeez. Rihanna. I'm not gonna let myself forget that again, because I think that's happened twice now. But the only thing I've seen that's been as competitive against the other boys in the age group is Rihanna Utterback. Megan Black was placing at AAU State with boys like in the 4th through 7th or 8th range. I would say 2 out of every 3 years growing up, and you didn't ever see that happen with anybody else.
No.
Like, that is a tough girl. I mean, you can make an argument that the AAU state tournament is tougher than the high school one, since there's no separation of classes. So I mean, she was beating hammers to make that podium, and she was winning her placing matches. I mean, she was a legit hammer in the boys division her entire career. And I've never seen anybody like that to that extent in Iowa, anyways, until Rihanna. Did I say it right?
Yeah, I think they're very similar too. Like, the way they wrestle is pretty similar too. Megan and Rihanna, my personal belief, but
you're probably a little bit more familiar with Rihanna. How would you describe her style?
She doesn't give up either. She's really tough. She's chasing points. She's even when say she's down, like at the Night of Conflict match when she was wrestling the Worthen for Union. She got thrown, and then all of a sudden she's up again because she just never stops. She's always going, chasing points, trying to score as much as possible. So
yeah, when she got thrown like that, I was there too. When she got thrown like that, my first thought was like, well, first off, I was just like, whoa, I didn't expect her to get put on her back, but
I was shocked. I was like, oh my.
And it's like, this doesn't happen to her often, wrestling other girls. Is she going to be able to bounce back from this? And yeah, she did admirably. I mean, she came back like it didn't bother her at all. Like, she didn't notice it.
Oh yeah.
That was impressive. And Jillian's throw was impressive.
It was a great throw.
Yeah. Dude, I meant to get all state champs. I think I forgot Tucker Black. Ah,
Oh, Tucker, he's one of the coolest people I've met too. Just
unfortunately, I don't have a picture. Dang it, I always do stuff like that. But yeah, Tucker. What's he's coaching too at the college level, right? Indian.
yeah, he's at William Penn. He's the women's girls coach.
Nice. Do you think that somebody like Tucker being a girls coach at that level, do you think him being Megan's brother would be a good experience for him, knowing how to handle?
Oh yeah, definitely, because he's seen it. He's firsthand he's seen it, like what it takes to be a good women's wrestler, and he's seen that. So now he's gonna help teach that and coach it, and I think it's really cool that somebody from our area is doing that.
Yeah. You know what I think is really cool about Tucker Black is he's always been his sister's biggest fan and supporter, like you know, and you could tell he's got a genuine passion for women's wrestling, and you know, obviously his sister being Megan Black, you know, has you know, played a role in that, I'm guessing, and it's just really cool. I don't know. I just think it's really cool how well those two get along and how supportive they are, you know, on social media anyways. It appears that they get along really good and they're very supportive. And
oh yeah,
I like that. I like that when siblings get along with each other. But yeah. Anyways, have you checked out my brother Shay's Comet Wrestling Club in Cardinal?
I haven't. I've checked it out a little bit, but I saw that he got the high school job, and I thought that was really cool that he got that.
Dude, you know where I learned that? Somebody posted a link to it on Facebook. I had no idea that it even came open.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook, and I was like, that's cool. Because he's one of the, because you could tell he really knows what he's talking about. Because like when we wrestled Cardinal, he was like the biggest like motivator, and he was like the best. I could tell personally. I thought he was the best coach they had. So I was like, he's definitely gonna get a head job somewhere.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he's real passionate about it, and he's spent a lot of time studying it, like studying the fine-tuned details. I could never do that. I've never really wanted to coach. I just worry that I would do something the wrong or show it the wrong way and I don't know. I would just worry too much. But there's others that are really, really good at it. And, you know, I just sit back and watch these guys and, you know, in awe. And they probably sit back and are like, man, I wonder how in the hell he does all this media stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just coaching was just never my place in the wrestling world. I don't know. I didn't like dealing with parents. I remember the one year that I did coach, I had a situation where I had a kid stay after practice for about 30 minutes and helped him fix up some of his technique, a couple of things that he was doing wrong. And, you know, I thought I had him straightened out, and goes home, comes back the next day, and his parents that did not wrestle ever in their lives, apparently they asked him to show what I had shown, you know, and I wrestled 16 years. And oh, that's not for you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. That happened, and I'm just like, you know what? I think I hate coaching. It's been a bad vibe ever since. I've been asked to coach probably 50 times a year, and I always sound like a huge dickhead when I say no, I hate coaching. But I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for people that are able to coach at such high levels the way they do, because that's something that I truly don't know if I can get through. I would just be too, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would get to a point where I would run my mouth too much. And I just, I don't know. Tons of respect for coaches. Who would you consider to be your most influential coach who are some of your most influential coaches from the youth level on up through high school?
Oh, well, besides Dimitri, which he's probably the most influential because he's been coaching me since forever. So I'll say probably start with Jason Boyer. He used to be my club coach and used to go to a club in Blakesburg called Southern Iowa Swagger. He was the head coach there.
Oh, gotcha.
He was one of those practices was probably some of the most intense practices I've ever been in, because we would wrestle in his garage because they didn't have a place, so we put a mat in his garage. It was one of the smallest rooms. It was like less than the size of an actual mat, and we had like 30 people, 20 to 30 people in there. Blakesburg.
Oh, okay. You never went to any in Moravia, did you?
No, I did not.
Dude, I took my brothers Shay and Brennan to 3 practices that were run by the same guys that you're in. I know exactly what you're talking about. They're the most brutal practices I've ever witnessed in my life.
Oh yeah,
it sounded like a nursery in that wrestling room, like from kids crying.
Oh
and
yeah.
I would be sitting back watching them like, yeah, man, I'm real glad I'm not crying right now, because that practice looked like torture. But they were freaking warriors though because of it.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I used to wrestle Tate Ricard. He went to Eddyville. He was a state qualifier. He's at Chadron State right now in Nebraska. He went to Hills. And also wrestled Leland Evans. He went to Oski. He was one of the toughest guys I've ever wrestled too.
Really?
Leland was. So yeah.
Cool.
And then probably after Jason, one of my most influential coaches, definitely Scott Williamson. He's helped me progress from wrestling extremely.
Is he one of the? Is he?
General.
It seems like every school has at least one guy that works with the upper weights, which every school should, because it's a different game. If you don't have an upper weight guy on your staff, then your upper weight guys are getting shortchanged. And same for the lightweights, you know. Because a lightweight can't teach you how to wrestle like a heavyweight. A heavyweight can't teach you how to wrestle like a lightweight, because they don't usually know. But would he have been an upper weight type coach for Eddyville, or?
He was the head guy before Dimitri came, because he was from my sophomore and junior year. He used to coach at Tri-County. He was at Tri-County when they had when they won it, like that video yesterday you had in the podcast. He was the head coach then. Of that, I think it was Travis Moore. I think that's.
Yeah.
He was the head coach then. So
yeah, God, what do you think of that match?
That was crazy. It was great. And then I looked over and I saw like Mr. Williamson. I was like, dang, he moved a lot quicker then than he does now, because he's gotten a lot older. So it's funny to see that.
And Tri-County Thornburg, they had some, that was where the littles went, right? Bart and Brett, Brady. God, and they had a Van Dusen or something that won state, didn't they? Yes,
and he's the Sigourney's head coach now.
Oh, is he? He's the Sigourney's head coach. That's Van Dusen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know that. I saw Sigourney all year, and I didn't even realize.
And he's one of the coolest people. He's really cool too. He helps me with all my wrestling stuff too, like help me progress. So he's another one of the coaches I would like to thank. And then also another one that I've never really coached under, but like he helps me a lot. Is Groom from North Mahaska. He's really cool too. So
he was a state champ, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, I think so. At Oski.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really, really good. He was at least a finalist. I want to say he was state champ.
Something like that.
And he has a son that's not built like him at all, right?
Oh, Ryan, yeah, he's the 6-pounder. He's their 6-pounder. So.
I can't believe Ryan Groom. See, Ryan Groom was from my day. I can't believe Ryan Groom has a 6-pounder. Like, yeah, it always cracks me up when that happens. Or like when you got like tiny little people that have like a big kid, like big muscular kid. Like, I always think that's funny. Anyways, well, what do you think, Skyler?
Yeah, just having a good time, vibing.
Do you have anything you'd like to say about how you feel about the upcoming football season?
I'm excited. It's very, very exciting going. It's one of those bittersweet things because I'm going 12 hours away, and then instead of being here in Eddyville with all my friends and high school coaches and everything, but I'm looking forward to it. But I'm sure it's going to be very humbling because being from here and then going up there to seeing men all the time. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun though. I'm looking forward to it.
Have you been from Eddyville your entire life?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I know the situation when I moved to Loris as a freshman in college. Yeah, I remember I remember thinking and feeling the same way. It's like I lived in Minneapolis my entire life. You know, and then I get to Loris, and one thing I didn't know or expect about college that ended up happening was I didn't expect to be in a big community that was like 75% Chicago people. I thought I was going to go to Loris College and just be with a bunch of Iowa people, but no. I get up to Loris College and I'm suddenly in a group that's 75% Chicago suburban people, and I had no idea how dorky I dressed, or I not dorky, but I had no idea how behind the times I was living in Minneapolis until it was brought to my attention by Chicago people that like to get in. And you know, I remember a lot of those guys from Chicago wore Banana Republic, and I was like, you know, you guys can wear that stuff. I don't even think that looks cool. I'll stick with my t-shirts and my cargo pants.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, I've got to get my daughters to bed. But dude, got to do this again. Got to do this again, and make sure you keep me posted on how football is going and how just things are going for you. But hell yeah, man, let's you can do this again sometime. Hopefully you had a fun time talking about all this stuff.
Awesome. It was great. I had a great time. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Thanks for coming on, man. Hey, great job with your wrestling career.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Have a good one, man.
You too.